Introduction. Why did I channel Prophet Elijah? After discovering the gift of this expanded awareness, I felt compelled to revisit much of the information I had received from others and read in books. Gathering knowledge from external sources is valuable, but I craved a more experiential understanding, where I could immerse myself in these realities and draw my own conclusions. In the Bible, there are only a few individuals who defied death like Elijah, Enoch, and Christ. What intrigued me was the contrast with Eastern religions, where numerous Buddhas and enlightened beings have been physically transformed, vanishing into higher realms of existence. This led me to seek a broader understanding of Elijah, one of the most interesting biblical characters. It is also interesting that Christ talks about this phenomenon in the Bible. John 11:25-26. Whoever lives by believing in me will never die. John 8:51. If anyone keeps my word, he will never see death. In this channeling session, I discovered interesting details not mentioned in the Bible. The most astonishing revelation was that Elijah was an avatar, a conduit for multiple spiritual beings to communicate through. It is interesting to find out that he is no more because he has ascended so high beyond this realm. In this session, I will share these extraordinary insights and other mysteries that will enrich your understanding of this infamous biblical character. I hope you find profound insights and enjoy this enlightening exploration. Mysteries of Prophet Elijah. Okay, now, let me tell you a little about the individual you want to understand, known as Prophet Elijah. He was a man of God, considered holy in his time. Serious and intense, with piercing eyes, he remained unaffected by social status or activities. From an early age, he displayed signs of being different and was rejected by his society, making him stand out from the average neighborhood. Most of his adult life was spent in caves, where he listened to voices and witnessed the supernatural. Through this, he gained insights into the secrets and mysteries of God. As a result, he surpassed what many understood as the ways of God. Throughout his lifetime, he refrained from engaging in social activities, which helped maintain the purity of his spirit and kept his mind childlike. He didn't rely on human services or knowledge because he found a voice within his mind, which he recognized as the true voice of God. Whatever this voice told him was true and right, enabling him to prophesy and perform miracles that others could not. This voice was distinct from the human voice, as it could penetrate the consciousness of everything. Unlike any ordinary sound, it held the power to activate everything, acting as a law or command. Question and answer. Question. So, you referred to this prophet Elijah as a different person from who I am communicating with now. Why is that? Answer. It has to be this way because Prophet Elijah was not an ordinary person. He was an avatar, a beacon, and a station for many beings to access and communicate through. It was not just a singular personality, but a multitude of beings speaking through him, each connected to the divine. He acted as a beacon or an outpost where different beings from the spiritual realms could come through and communicate with humans. In ancient times, the world was divided into smaller groups, and each group had its own guardians and relationships with spiritual beings. Individuals were chosen as living temples for these beings to use and connect with the human world. Some were born with special birthmarks or defects, indicating that they were chosen by the spirits. Even in the modern world, there are such individuals, but they have been misunderstood, mislabeled, and sometimes ridiculed, with some even ending up in mental institutions. Due to this, the bridge between the higher realms and the physical world has become loosely disconnected. When Prophet Elijah's mission was completed, he preserved his human spirit, observing everything like a person in a dream. His humbleness and obedience allowed him to fuse his spirit with God, and he was then taken by the chariots of fire. Question. Can you elaborate on what you mean by he was rejected by society? Answer. Prophet Elijah's behavior and characteristics were not fully accepted by society. He displayed signs that some perceived as insanity. He would mumble things that others couldn't understand clearly. He was slow to respond and couldn't easily follow simple instructions. These traits led to him being rejected by society. Question. You compared insanity with enlightenment. How is this so? Answer. It's not a direct comparison between insanity and enlightenment. Rather, there are instances where a person's consciousness is not aligned or tuned in properly with the frequencies of this world. As a result, they may see things that others cannot see, and have experiences that others find hard to comprehend. Society often labels these experiences as insanity. In some cases, these experiences can be intense, causing individuals to react in ways that irritate society. Because of this, many of these people choose to isolate themselves from society or were purposely isolated because they often discuss things that others do not easily understand, not concerning themselves with ordinary matters. Question. Was it really a chariot of fire or was it a representation of something else? Answer. The chariot of fire was a demonstration of the process when a human soul fuses with the divine. In those ancient times, this process was common, and individuals who reached this state would explode with bright, blinding light. When Prophet Elijah knew his time was near, he chose to withdraw from society and stay in the mountains, using this transformation as a beautiful presentation by being taken away with the chariots of fire. Question. You talked about the spirit of Prophet Elijah sitting and observing everything as it unfolds. Are you suggesting that he was in some kind of a dream state? Answer. It wasn't a dream state, but rather, he let the divine voice speak through him. He was in a state of innocence and humility, allowing his spirit to perceive higher truths. He surrendered himself to the currents of this higher authority, observing events unfold as if he were being moved by these currents, letting them guide him where he belonged. Question. So, if he was just an observer, why would his spirit need to be inside the body? Answer. The spirit of an individual animates the body to allow it to function. While other voices may come and go, his spirit remained present to sustain the body. Moreover, his spirit had a specific signature that aligned with those higher beings, making him a suitable vessel or avatar for their communication and authority. Question. So, who am I contacting right now? Answer. You are communicating with the record keepers, beings that narrate and maintain the universal records of events in your local worlds. Question. So, where is his spirit then? Answer. When a soul transcends and reaches the seventh heavens, they leave behind their physical presence and only leave their signature and records. Communication with such souls becomes impossible from lower dimensions, including our own. Thus, as record keepers, we can share the accounts and historical records of Prophet Elijah. Question. Tell me more about this voice he was using. Answer. The voice, also known as the command, acted as a badge of authority given to Prophet Elijah. This voice allowed him to command things into being, and it held the power behind his prophecies and miracles. The voice was not just ordinary words but a knowing and authority that could alter events in the past and future. Question. So, how did he come about to have or access this voice? Answer. The voice was already given to him. As he grew up, he became aware of its presence within himself and learned to attune to its authority. Question. Is there a way for an average human being to get access to this voice? Answer. Access to this voice is possible, but it requires a person to be in harmony with God, to allow higher authorities to live through them. Most people fail to achieve this because of the mental baggage they carry, making it challenging to make space for higher dimensions. Prophet Elijah's innocence and seclusion allowed him to hear this voice clearly. Question. Are you referring to this voice as some kind of stillness or mental state? Answer. To him it was a voice without words. It was a knowing and authority that guided him. For others, it could be a form of knowing or intuition that comes with alignment to higher realms. Question. So, is this knowing some kind of channeling? Answer. No, Prophet Elijah was beyond channeling. He had become the gates or the world itself, connecting to the central Isle of Paradise. This connection allowed him to have authority over all minor dimensions, giving his commands the power to create reality. So, whatever happens on the Isle of Paradise affects things on lower dimensions. Thus, if someone is speaking on that level, their commands become true, they create reality. Question. You mentioned that the voice was given to him. Who exactly gave him this voice? Answer. In life, individuals can create relationships with other beings across different lifetimes. Elijah had attained a higher level of authority through these relationships with beings from larger dimensions, granting him access to this voice while existing as a human. Question. Is this voice the same as what Christ was using? Answer. Yes, this voice is an access to Christ consciousness, an alliance open to all who choose it. It is a kingdom that one must follow the teachings of and allow to flow through them. John the Baptist, who was the spirit of Elijah, also had access to this voice. Prophets or enlightened beings like them briefly come back to complete their missions but don't return again due to the wheels and cycles of reincarnation. Question. The chariots of fire allowed Elijah to ascend. So why would he need to come back? Answer. Sometimes, when enlightened beings die, they leave an ambiance or a portal to higher worlds at that specific location. Elijah's mission as a forerunner was to prepare the way for Christ and others to pass through this portal when they die. This portal remains even after their ascension, making it a significant part of their mission.